There's a tax on looking rich. And I'm not talking about money. It's paid with a very specific kind of exhaustion. The kind that comes from performing the glossy, successful version of yourself, day in and day out. It's deeper than just a long day at work. Today, we're diving into that hidden cost, the tax it puts on our integrity. And I mean, wow, that really just says it all, doesn't it? This metaphor perfectly captures that painful, chaotic, and frankly self-inflicted damage of trying to keep up appearances when life is a storm. You're trying to reflect this perfect, unbroken image while literally being shredded by the very thing you're carrying. So let's look a little closer at that mirror. This chase for the perfect image, it turns your life into a nonstop performance. It's a show where honesty becomes your biggest enemy, because honesty is the one thing that threatens to reveal all the cracks. And let's be super clear about this. This isn't some victimless act. The bill for this illusion, it always shows up. And when it does, it's not just a vague feeling of guilt. No, it's like a detailed, itemized receipt, listing every single compromise, every shortcut. And the worst part? That bill compounds over time with interest. So what's the engine behind all this, right? What puts us out there in the hurricane in the first place? Well, it all comes down to the ego, but maybe not in the way you're used to thinking about it.
I absolutely love this definition because it just takes all the villainy out of it. Your ego isn't some evil monster. It's more like the insecure, totally inexperienced part of you that thinks it knows best. It grabs the steering wheel desperate to prove itself, but it just doesn't have the wisdom to make good long-term decisions.
And that in turn, our ego, it's running on some really shaky code. It has a few core beliefs that are, well, they're just not built for the long haul. First, my identity is just a reflection of what other people think of me. Second, power is a shield. If I look powerful, I'm safe. And the third one, this is the real kicker. I can get affection and love on credit right now, and I'll just pay for it later with my performance. These beliefs are the blueprint for the fake persona we end up building. And here's where it gets really insidious. That persona starts making your decisions for you. You start doing things to protect the image, not to protect your integrity. And it's not this one big, dramatic fall from grace. No, it's a slow erosion, a death by 1,000 cuts, 1,000 tiny little discounts on your own values, until one day you look around and realize your moral boundaries have completely vanished. Which of course brings us right back to that itemized bill we mentioned. So let's get into it. Let's look at the actual line items on that receipt, the real long-term costs of trading your authentic self for a shiny image. And wow, what a list. First, there's moral injury. That's the wound you give yourself when you betray your own values. Then you've got identity drift, where the mask starts feeling more real than your actual face. You build up attention debt, all that brain power spent curating an image instead of creating real value. You get relationship inflation, where you attract people who are loyal to your costume, not to you. There's opportunity myopia, which is huge, missing out on real chances because they don't look good on social media. And finally, that ethical erosion, which is the grand total of all those tiny discounts we just talked about. So this all leads to a really powerful, maybe even uncomfortable question you have to ask yourself. And seriously, take a second and actually think about this. If absolutely no one could see this car, this job, this relationship, would I still want it? If the answer is no, you're not actually buying an asset. You're buying applause. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but wait, what about fake it till you make it? And sure, sometimes that might get you in the door. But even when it succeeds, it's a terrible investment in the long run. It's an investment that builds you a beautiful cage. I mean, just look at the math here. It's a classic trap. The pros, getting access, building some momentum, maybe a quick spike in revenue, they're all front-loaded. You get the reward right away, instant gratification. But the cons, the slow drift of your values, emotional bankruptcy, building shallow networks, they're all backloaded. They show up later, and they don't just show up, they compound. The math is just not on your side. And this really gets to the core of the damage it does to your relationships. Think about it. When you fail, when you mess up, people can often relate. It's human. But when you're fake, you become unpredictable. You become a hazard. You teach people that they can't trust their own judgment around you, and that kind of damage is so much harder to repair than a simple mistake. And that brings us to the second crucial question you need to ask. Because at the end of the day, the real prize of wealth isn't stuff, it's freedom, it's options. So if the image you're building requires constant, expensive upkeep that actually reduces your future options, well, by definition, it's making you poorer, not richer. Okay, so I know this all might feel a little heavy, but here's the really important part. The good news. If you find yourself stuck in this costume, there is a way out. So let's look at a humane, actionable plan to get back to who you really are. It starts with these 6 concrete steps. 1. Audit your motives. Actually write down why you're saying yes to things. 2. Shrink the stage. Go do quiet, unshareable work that builds real skill, not just your public profile. 3. Create an anti-flex budget to fund things that make you feel secure, like therapy or paying down debt, not just look secure. 4. Tell one small, unpolished truth every single day. It's like a workout for your integrity muscle. 5. Rebase your relationships with honest apologies where they're needed. And number 6, and this one is critical, choose hard friends, the people who care more about your well-being than your comfort. So as we start to wrap up, let's completely redefine the goal here. If chasing the appearance of wealth is a trap, what does real wealth actually feel like? What should we be aiming for instead? Just take a look at this list. It's got nothing to do with cars or watches. It's about a quiet confidence, an internal freedom. It's waking up and not being terrified to open your email. It's being able to say no without having to practice it in the mirror first. It's doing work that you can stand behind and defend with pride, loving people and being loved back without all the performance and choreography. And this last one is huge. Having enough space in your life, financially and emotionally, to completely change your mind if you want to. That's a wealth that doesn't need an audience. And all of this brings us to the ultimate takeaway, the ultimate definition. True wealth isn't about what you have. It's about having the ability to live by your values at scale without ever having to ask permission from how it looks to other people. It is total sovereignty over your own integrity. And we'll end with this final thought. Think of it as a personal declaration, a line that you draw in the sand. It's a refusal to trade something priceless, your authentic self, for something so fleeting and hollow, like applause. It's the ultimate decision to stop paying the tax on looking rich and to start investing in being real.